History is filled with pivotal moments, single events that change the course of everything that follows. The Gleiwitz incident is one such moment. It was a dark and twisted piece of theatre, performed on the eve of the deadliest conflict in human history. This event took place on the night of August 31st, 1939. This was the very day before Germany invaded Poland, officially starting the Second World War. On the surface, it looked like an unprovoked attack by Polish soldiers on a German radio station in the small border town of Gleiwitz. But the truth was far more sinister. It was a complete fabrication, a carefully constructed lie designed by the highest levels of the Nazi regime to achieve one goal: to provide a justifiable excuse or a casus belli for war. Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party had been planning to invade Poland for a long time. They saw Poland as a crucial part of their plan to expand German territory, a concept they called Lebensraum, or living space. However, launching a full-scale invasion without any apparent reason would have made Germany look like a blatant aggressor to the rest of the world. Hitler needed a story, a narrative that would paint Poland as the villain and Germany as the victim acting in self-defense. He needed something that would rally the German people behind the war effort and perhaps confuse other European powers like Britain and France, just long enough for his armies to secure a swift and decisive victory in Poland. Every sinister plan needs its architects, and the Gleiwitz incident was no exception. The mastermind behind this deception was Reinhard Heydrich, one of the most ruthless and powerful figures in the Nazi hierarchy. As the head of the SS security service, the Sicherheitsdienst, or SD, Heydrich was a key architect of the Holocaust and a man known for his brutal efficiency. He was tasked directly by Hitler to create the necessary proof of Polish aggression. Heydrich was the perfect man for such a job. He was intelligent, calculating, and utterly devoid of any moral compass. He meticulously planned every detail of Operation Himmler, ensuring that the staged attacks would appear as authentic as possible to an unsuspecting public. To carry out the plan on the ground, Heydrich chose a loyal and ambitious SS officer named Alfred Naujoks. Naujoks was a tough operative who had proven his willingness to do anything for the Nazi cause. He was given direct orders from Heydrich to lead a small team of SS commandos, all disguised as Polish partisans. Their mission was simple: seize the Gleiwitz radio station, broadcast a short anti-German message in Polish, fire a few shots to make it look like a struggle had occurred, and then disappear back into the night. Naujoks later testified at the Nuremberg trials, providing a detailed account of his meeting with Heydrich, where he was told actual proof of Polish attacks is needed for the foreign press and for German propaganda. The most chilling and cruel part of the plan involved the use of innocent victims to make the fake attack seem real. The Nazis referred to these victims with a horrifyingly cynical codename Konserven, the German word for canned goods. These were prisoners taken from German concentration camps such as Dachau. They were to be dressed in Polish army uniforms, taken to the site of the attack, and then killed by lethal injection. On the evening of August 31st, 1939, as darkness fell over the German-Polish border, Alfred Naujoks and his small team of SS operatives put their sinister plan into motion. They were dressed in civilian clothes to avoid suspicion as they approached the target, the sender Gleiwitz radio station. This particular station was not a major broadcasting hub. It was actually a relay station that rebroadcast programs from a larger station in another city. This technical detail was crucial. The station had a small studio for making emergency announcements, but it lacked the equipment to interrupt a national broadcast. This meant the raider's message would only be heard by local listeners, which ultimately limited its immediate impact, but was still enough for propaganda purposes. Once inside the station, the SS commandos, now brandishing pistols, quickly overpowered the few nighttime staff members. They stormed the control room, tied up the technicians, and locked them in the basement. The scene was meant to look chaotic and violent. Naujoks' men fired their pistols into the ceiling and made a general mess of the place to simulate a fierce struggle. The primary goal, however, was to get on the air. They had to broadcast their pre-written inflammatory message to create the illusion of a Polish attack. This was the moment the entire operation hinged upon. The success of their mission depended on getting that fake Polish message out over the German airwaves. The attackers soon ran into a technical problem. The station's engineers, under duress, explained that the main microphone was not for broadcasting but only for testing and communicating with the main station. The only way to broadcast live was through a separate storm microphone designed for weather alerts. In the frantic and confusing moments that followed, one of Naujok's men, who could speak some Polish, grabbed the storm microphone. He then proceeded to deliver a short, aggressive speech in Polish, declaring that the station was now in Polish hands, and that the time had come for a confrontation between Poles and Germans. The broadcast lasted for only about 3 or 4 minutes, and due to the technical setup, was barely audible beyond the immediate local area. After the brief and garbled broadcast, the SS team completed their grim task. They brought in the drugged body of Franciszek Honiok and shot him to make it look like he had been killed in the fighting. They left his body at the entrance of the station as proof of the failed Polish raid. Having created their scene of chaos and leaving behind their canned good, Naujok and his men quickly fled the scene, their mission accomplished. The moment the staged attack was over, the Nazi propaganda apparatus, led by Joseph Goebbels, launched into action with breathtaking speed and efficiency. Before the sun even rose on September 1st, 1939, German newspapers were already printing headlines that screamed of Polish aggression. They reported on the outrageous attack on the Gleiwitz radio station and other fabricated border incidents. Radio broadcasts across Germany carried the news, painting a picture of a peaceful Germany that had been pushed too far by a hostile and violent neighbor. The German public, fed a steady diet of misinformation, was led to believe that their country was under threat and that military action was a necessary and justified response to defend their homeland. Later that same morning, Adolf Hitler stood before the German Reichstag to deliver a historic and profoundly dishonest speech. He did not declare war, as that would have made Germany the official aggressor. Instead, he announced that German forces were now retaliating against Polish attacks. He famously and falsely claimed, "Since 5:45 a.m. we have been returning fire." He listed a series of border violations, with the Gleiwitz incident as his centerpiece of evidence, to justify the invasion of Poland that had already begun hours earlier. This speech was broadcast to the world, a masterwork of deception intended to frame the invasion not as a war of conquest, but as a defensive police action against a rogue state. The Gleiwitz incident served its immediate purpose perfectly. It provided Hitler with the public pretext he needed to launch his invasion of Poland, triggering the mutual defense treaties Poland had with Britain and France. On September 3rd, 1939, both nations declared war on Germany, and the Second World War officially began. The lie at Gleiwitz had successfully ignited the flames of a global conflict. While many international observers were skeptical of the German claims from the start, the speed of the invasion meant that the truth about the incident did not emerge until much later, primarily through the testimonies of Nazi officials like Alfred Naujok at the post-war Nuremberg trials. Today, the Gleiwitz incident is remembered as a classic example of a false flag operation. It stands as a chilling reminder of how propaganda and government-sponsored lies can be used to manipulate public opinion and justify acts of war. The story of Franciszek Honiok, the innocent farmer murdered to sell a lie, underscores the human cost of such political cynicism. Remembering Gleiwitz is important because it teaches us to be critical of official narratives, especially in times of conflict, and to question the reasons given for war. It is a stark lesson in the power of deception and a testament to the fact that the first casualty of war is very often the truth itself.